Welcome to Matters Arising Democracy Day special. Kingsley, yes. You're welcome.
June 12, 1993. A memorable day.
Do you know, but it took us so much a long time to actually recognize June 12 as the Democracy Day. You know, we picked May 29, starting from Obasanjo, 1999. We didn't celebrate Democracy Day 1999 because that was the year the democracy was restored in Nigeria. Then it got to year 2000. Obasanjo decided that we should have kind of Democracy Day, so we can remember, what has happened in our history. And they said it's May 29. But Asiwaju, who is now a president today, I've always felt, no, Democracy Day shouldn't be May 29 simply because democracy started once again that day. There were efforts, people sacrificed their life, a lot of things happened, and they felt it should be June 12. Before it was officially recognized by Buhari on June 6, 2018, eventually, have you ever felt that June 12 should actually be the Democracy Day?
For me, yes. And, June 12 was a power play between the elites. The elites used it as a power play.
Yeah.
If you look at it very well, Obasanjo didn't support Abiola for June 12, for example. The military squashed June 12. So they couldn't have restored June 12 as a democracy day.
Yeah.
After 1993, we still had 6 years of military rule. Then Obasanjo came in. Now Obasanjo came in 1999. He didn't feel. He made a statement just before the election. He said Abiola is not the Messiah we are looking for.
Exactly.
So he couldn't have been the one to restore it.
And you know one thing, just recently, it wasn't only Obasanjo's voice. Recently, there was echoes that, that Abiola wasn't even the Messiah, trying to discredit the emotion Nigerians have towards June 12, that if Abiola was made a president, probably would not be where we are today. They said those school of thoughts, let me call them school of thoughts, they are still on the background. They felt that the military just gave us Tofa and Abiola not allowed us to make our choices, going beyond Yarada, even Bamanga Tuku, a lot of people that were on the background on the other side. And but as we have it today, it appears the voice of the majority that voted for Abiola and those that believe in that have done.
See, if you ask me as an analyst, a political scientist, I will tell you that what I synchronize or I agree with what IBB did in banning the 23 presidential candidates at the time. Now it allowed for the emergence of a new crop of politicians that have also refused to leave the stage till today. Those are the issues. Bamanga Tuko, Yaradua, all of them at the time, they were recycled over and over again. And they were still the one dictating the pace of things. They formed a lot of political parties at the time, and IBB came forth and said, no, we're going to have a two-party system. And in the two-party system, government is going to finance the two-party system. Government was financing them. Now, it's different from what we have today.
Built headquarters
it built in every local government, they had secretariats. You see, so nobody was talking about funding of the political parties. You see, but today is different. Why do I say it's different? What we have today now, the state governors or anybody representing a particular party is using government money to finance party. It is wrong. That's why it's difficult to defeat a ruling party or a candidate of a party, no matter how it is, in a state or even at the federal level, because they use state funds. The parties are not supposed to use state funds. They're supposed to depend on the popularity of the party. But today it is not so.
When we begin to think of democracy since 1999. No, not many people remember where we were.
Yes.
The military rule, people have forgotten about it. You can even see at the background, so people are asking for it. When it comes to issues of our rights, for example, let's look at issues of our rights to peaceful assembly, guaranteed in the Constitution, freedom of association and things like that. How far, let's leave economics, maybe we'll come to that later. How far have we fared? Because if we are bringing out a day to celebrate something in our democracy, in our history, in our nation, we think that day should epitomize something we are seeing, at maybe during the other days.
That's quite different from the military.
Yeah, that's different from military, something that epitomizes what we have, at least in the Constitution. I remember since 2023 that Asiwaju has come to power, I have not seen anything like even the most peaceful of the peaceful protests is challenged. Come to think of what you have in the Rivers State, women that were protesting were tear-gassed. Come to think of the bad governance, they say, this is going to skyrocket. There's none that they will say they want to do. And they'll say, okay, this one will not skyrocket. Have we lost our right to peaceful assembly, our right, freedom of expression, in a form, in a manner we want? If we are celebrating democracy, we should have those things. Remember, we have always said it, particularly on our News Insight table, that celebrating street lights, maybe little roads that we are managing to see as a dividend dividend of democracy. It's this representation of fact. Because when you go to places like China, where they don't have democracy, they have the best of infrastructure.
It's a communist rule.
This is so when we talk about democracy, it's my freedom to speak, my freedom to express myself, my freedom to associate with whoever I want to associate with, and right to peaceful assembly, and in some form we call it protest. These days we are beginning to change the word from protest to advocacy. The way Oaks told us the other day, there's actually advocacy. When they hear protest, they think you want to fight. Do you think somebody like Asiwaju, who is a pro-democratic element in our history, is now not allowing in some form by tagging it security risk, or what's the problem today?
I don't really know where to start it from, whether it's from Tinubu or from dividends of democracy. Let me start from dividends of democracy. Dividends of democracy is the right to speak. It's not especially it's not infrastructure. You and I know that as it is right now, the military developed this country better.
More. Even in Abuja here, where we are today.
They laid the master plan for the city.
Master plan? Most of the major roads in the Metama, Wuse, the old regions,
is the military
area. It was the military. The bridges, and they were not bringing canopy to put together
like they did yesterday or day before yesterday.
Putting canopy that they want to commission. Nothing like it was the military.
They didn't need the National Assembly to vert their budget for a project, but it was moderate. For example, we had a project at...
So they had more conscience if you look at it.
Yes. They were,
so
you see,
when the military today should be a progress from that.
That's why they wrote a book that Abacha, is it 25 years after, you lived a better Nigeria that we have today.
And it's so sad.
Very sad.
Very sad.
Abacha had PTF, which...
I don't know if you know Gwarempa and see what Abacha did.
National Hospital.
Yes.
Right? Now, the road from Okene to Kano was started by PTF. I mean, I can go on and I was in school during that period of Abacha. I was in the university. The teaching hospitals of the premier universities and even beyond were all renovated. Ahmadu Bello University that I was used to have their this thing at Tunduwada and one in Kaduna, their teaching hospital. They removed it from there, built a permanent site in Shika. Today now, it was done by PTF. We can go on and on. The third mainland bridge is which bridge has been built after 10 mainland bridge? No, tell me.
It was done
So
by
if you are
Asiwaju.
talking about development, the
And it used to be the longest in West Africa at that
as
time.
at that time. Do you
I'm
understand?
not too certain if it's
It's
still
still the
that
same
today.
thing now. Now, what we needed to remove the military from was because everybody needed the right to speak. We didn't want to be
And that
gagged.
was all what we didn't have.
We didn't
That is
have.
what I'm saying.
We had every other
And
thing.
some of our mosques were cheaper because they didn't have assembly members or whatever to please with big salary. They don't need to buy how many vehicles, 360 vehicles for NAS members, for House of Rep members,
you don't need that.
or 109 other
And
vehicles
let
for
me
the
tell you
senators.
something.
You know, with the dollar we don't have, they don't need to repeat all these things. So if we are sacrificing all that, we should be able to speak. We should be able to advocate.
Look,
we should be able to protest.
We had the best of technocrats manning our ministries. If you can remember very well, we had the best minister of health. We had the best minister of foreign affairs. We had the best in everything. In fact, including Wole Soyinka was brought in to pioneer road safety.
Yeah.
I mean, you can go on
And
and
those
on
road
and
safeties
on.
were focused more on prevention of accidents
Accident,
on
not
the
to
federal
punish.
highways.
Yes.
Not to come to T junction in
I
town.
be looking
inside
at you.
the market.
That's the work of MTD.
Work of yellow fever.
Yellow fever.
Oh, call yellow fever back then.
That's yellow
Trying
fever.
to look whether somebody's about to beat traffic or not.
Do you understand?
I mean, I think we have to restore too many things.
You see, that's why. Now let me come to the issue of Bola Ahmed Tinubu. I think Bola Ahmed Tinubu was looking for a vehicle to ride in. That's why he jumped in on pro-democratic movement.
You know, remember Bode George mentioned that back then in Asu Rock, Asiwaju came under the military to look for a position of a deputy governor to Olagunsoye.
Yes.
Before they gave it to, I've forgotten the woman or Okuno, whatever. I've forgotten that.
That was in 1993 after Abacha came in.
Yes, after that he was coming, Asiwaju was coming to lobby. But the judge said that. So it's not really like his hatred for military, like you think. But he jumped into Nadeco. National Democratic
That's why I'm telling
Coalition.
you that what he was looking for was a vehicle. Was a vehicle to
we,
display.
Because of that, you know, still see him as a pro-democratic.
We don't see. We think that is a pro-democratic. If the principles of democracy was in him, he would have displayed now. Yeah, this is the best time to show forth your democratic instinct. Because democracy is something that is practiced.
And he himself he's been an activist politician, let me put it this way.
Yes.
Because he's he rode on the shoulders of pure democracy in challenging ruling powers when he was in opposition.
Yes.
You know, like in the time of Goodluck, I mean, we're not going to have anybody as democratic.
Because he had a lot of money.
I don't believe we are going to have anybody in the recent times as democratic as Goodluck Jonathan. You know, conducting the what's it called, anti-subsidy removal protest and all that. And nobody got arrested. Nobody was prevented. Nothing was tagged security risk protest or whatever.
I don't know if you saw this video that Bakari was praying against Jonathan.
Back then, right?
Oh, no.
It's
I think he needs...
That's what Peter B said. Yeah. Those who protested against Jonathan, where are they?
Where are they now?
You know, people thought maybe Obi cashed in, just to...
No, he's saying the obvious. You need to listen to that video again.
And let me say, sincerely, it is difficult for those people to claim that they have just come to know better today. Because that was just a few years ago. They were already adults. They were
already men. They were already men.
Femi Kuti.
Yes.
I don't know, Tunde Braithwaite. Where is it?
Braithwaite.
Yes. You know, is it still?
Is it there?
So, you understand?
Tunde Braithwaite.
Yes. Tunde Braithwaite, rather, sorry. And Wole Soyinka.
They all gone quiet. Wole Soyinka is now attending ceremony of a 30-kilometer road that is not 30 kilometers.
And people are even challenging. There's one boy that made a video and circulated that even the 30 they said is completed, that even that 30 is not completed. You know, that video will need to evaluate and go to the place.
I think he wrote his name on good history in Nigeria for him to be aligned with all these people. If it's for any reason, I don't think the reason is good enough. I think Nigeria is a bigger reason to align with than to align with either ethnicity or I don't think he's revered. Wole Soyinka is revered from north to south to west to east of this country, in spite of religion, ethnicity, or tribe. He should speak. Of course, he has spoken recently in the case of Rivers. When there was an anti-democracy. But I think
of Rivers, everybody spoke.
Yeah, I think if he didn't speak, it would have been a problem. But not to be consistent with what he has said.
I think I would rather even give better excuse or make better excuse for Tunde Bakari, because he wrote a very lengthy and, how do I call that letter? Very surgical letter.
Exquisite.
To our president, even though he still went to see him there.
No, I don't think there's nothing.
And there's nothing wrong with that.
He said something.
And came and said we had a sincere conversation, and I've told him what to do. If he does it, fine.
He said the onus is on him. My own is to talk.
So I
and I've spoken. You see, criticism is not a hatred for personality.
But I've always said it.
It's a hatred for systemic.
Particularly, I've always said that if you are in power, criticisms from oppositions are merely free consulting services. They have just done your work, giving you tools. You put it in your toolbox, and you use it freely.
See the way I'm doing my hand.
You use it freely. Yeah. So it's like doing some of your job for you.
Yeah.
They're actually giving you the fair evaluation of your performance. You don't have to shut them down and claim victory. This claiming of victory is where I begin to get worried. 2 years gone, and most of the independent evaluation we have about this government, it seems not to be headed at the right direction. All of them are asking for a change in direction. You see, the Northern Group came out the other time under Sambo and said if the insecurity did not persist, we are not going to vote for Mr. President. A lot of people are saying, okay, thank God Mr. President has 2 more years. Somebody like me, I said, oh, our president has 2 more years.
Even the Afenifere.
And I believe, a miracle can happen. Afenifere, with all they said, about institutional victimization being done by this government, they still believe that giving 2 more years and giving a change of direction, miracle can still happen. And I believe that. I've always said that I prefer the miracle, to happen. I prefer to start enjoying a good Nigeria now than to wait for 2 years time to remove the president.
But I'll also tell you something. We must look at the body language, what I call the idiosyncrasies of the president, the way he spoke or he has been speaking, the way he's still speaking till today. He went to Abeokuta that time and said, "Is Emilio." He went to Abeokuta that Buhari didn't succeed anything until I came in.
But it's a statement of fact, though.
But if it was another president, he will not come in. You can't tell that to Obasanjo. Obasanjo knows. Obasanjo came out from prison and they had a PDP stakeholders meeting and they were doing donation. He brought a piece of paper and wrote 120 million. I mean, we all knew those that were behind Obasanjo to come as president of Nigeria. Obasanjo won in the north more than he won in the southwest.
In the southwest, they didn't vote.
Do you understand? So,
it was Olufala they voted.
So if you come to Obasanjo as president and you tell Obasanjo that Emilio come, what's the River State governor?
Fubara?
No, the former
Amechi?
No, not Amechi. The first one. Odili know what he suffered. Odili was poised to be the president of Nigeria after Obasanjo. He had the money, he had everything. And Obasanjo told him, if you don't enter your house. After that time, he never wanted to become deputy.
Focused at preserving Nigeria and the rotation.
Yes.
He insisted the next president is coming from the north. He single-handedly went to search for our late president, Yar'Adua.
And he came out with a good.
And it was a good result.
Yeah, it was a good result.
Yeah, he also performed as a governor. He was a little bit, he has been sick, and that was the reservation people had then. But for the little time he was with her, he was probably one of our best democratic presidents so far. And good luck starting or continuing from where he stopped. Didn't disappoint democratically.
No.
But some people felt he was economically disappointing. But by
looking
back
now, he was not.
We told them that he was not.
He needed to take some very few decisions that were critical at the particular time, to show and exert himself that he was the president. And like I said, the president has been speaking like that. If you watch what he said during the ceremonial dedication. Is it dedication? I don't know what to call it now. Or opening of the international conference, and are now named after him. He said something. He said, "We don't mind them."
It's still commissioning. Substantial work.
Exactly. He said, "We don't mind them." He said, "Forget the naysayer and the bystander." You see, that means when people speak, we have always said 39 billion naira used for the renovation of International Conference Center was out of the way.
It's a misplaced
Is it? How many people are going to use it?
And I come in to look at what you just said. I think the president needs to kind of develop a better listening ear in some form. If you remember what, is it Bishop Onaikon?
Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
Onaikon said that it's the duty of the president to find a way to hear from the people he's leading. He even made a mention that, there's this place in Abuja here called Mpape. He's developing very well now, but it used to be for the low-profile people back then. He said if he's not telling the president to go and live in Mpape in order to know what an ordinary Nigerian is going through. Yeah. But if that is what is going to take him to do, let him do it. That it won't be a bad idea. For the president who should know that unemployment rate in Nigeria is skyrocketing. Is growing. Even when we have some of our youth now being absorbed by this creative sector, creativity all over the internet.
Just imagine if they were not creative
by
sector.
Facebook,
just imagine we didn't have that.
Being paid by Google, being paid by that. They still high, plus the Japa.
I say just imagine if we didn't have those ones.
And now combine the illegal one, which you don't support because they are giving us bad name. That's the Yahoo boys. Yeah. By the time you even withdraw all those for any reason and put them with what we have, those who are conventionally looking for employment, you see that Nigeria, the insecurity we have is even a child's play. So I had expected that before you spent a whopping 39 billion to renovate a conference center that was used before, yes, upgrade and maintenance and is very, very important. But that substantial upgrade and substantial cost, and now you have privatized it. You forgot that while you were renovating there, people were also doing conferences and they had venues that they were using. They will continue to use those venues because the price, if they can't pay for the price,
they go away for alternative
venues. Not be sought you do. What you have alternative use.
But okay, if I asked you, I said, O2 Arena in London, who built it? Is it the British government?
You see, we don't know how to privatize something and keep it over. I can assure you, if it was a private sector that refurbished or probably bought ICC or go into PPP arrangement, privatize it and flex.
We should have done.
And the cost will not be up to 39 billion.
It will be more than 10 billion.
They will do it in such a way that over the years, they'll make it attractive, put in a marketing strategy, put in independence in managing even the income. The income that will be coming now, the management of it under government is also a case. We keep advocating for smaller government. These people keep pushing us into wider government. I had expected somebody like Asiwaju to shrink the government.
No, but he has never been done. You see, let me tell you something. I've told you something. I said, you look at the person's character, and character doesn't really change. No, people don't change. Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu has been like this for a long time. He has spoken like this for a long time. I've always said it. He told Obasanjo, if you try to bring that your
state of emergency,
Lagos will bomb. Can Fubara tell him that? Now, people that are terrorists, they don't like you bringing gun around them.
That takes me to what Bode George was telling Asiwaju about Fubara. He said you forgive Sanwo-Olu. Why not forgive Fubara the same way? If you notice the crisis that was, coming out of Lagos between Miranda, Obasi, and maybe Sanwo-Olu, Obasa rather, maybe Sanwo-Olu and co. It was well managed with some decorum, with some quietness at some point, with two people being speak out at some point. No state of emergency, nothing. And now, just coming to lie down and all that, as Asiwaju had said, I've forgiven you, your sinners. It's been cleansed. But that of Fubara, continuous negotiation and all that kept going. And Bode George said, in the spirit of Herbert Macaulay, let Asiwaju forgive Fubara. That is even spiritual. Do you think Wike Fato could have been preventing Asiwaju, giving Asiwaju that credit. Because so far he appears to even be accepting even those that criticized him. And just in the last election, one of his speakers, aides, what's it called, media aides,
one of his biggest media aides, yes.
One of the most outspoken media aides today.
And another one is on the way.
And Buala was flogging him left and right. So if you could accept those was into his food, I mean, that of Buala would have been.
Don't forget, Showemi is on the way. I'm sure we're going to talk about that.
Say, if I will leave PDP, it has to be completely, and if I'm doing that, it can only be APC. And I will do it because of Buhari. And
I'm sure we'll come to that.
We'll come to
when
that
we
later.
finish with this
Let's
one.
finish with it.
So
Do you
that
think it's a wicked factor?
No, I think it's a gimmick or a play that is employed by Tinubu. That's his line of action. Those are the things he does. We were anticipating that today was going to be a day of freedom.
Yeah,
or a day
probably
of that democracy will
advantage
reign
of it
of today.
But with today is still not over yet.
But sometimes the way you talk, I'm suspecting you. Today is over.
I want Asiwaju to do things well.
But
Let me tell you one thing. You see, don't get this. If any president, I want a president ruling the country, to do well at any time. Because do you know why? He doesn't have to be whether I like the person or not. I don't even need anybody to do wars so that I can remove the person. If Asiwaju starts doing most things that critics are, putting it onto the table for him, Nigeria will become fine.
Does he listen?
If he restores, that's why we hope. You can't. Shabi, you are a Christian. You can't ask God for something and not hope.
If you count 1, 2, 3 to 10, now commissioning of the what's it called? The Bola Ahmed Tinubu International Conference Center. I think it was day before yesterday. Yesterday, IBAS.
I'm still struggling to call it that.
Well, that's what it is.
Conference.
IBAS presented 1.4 trillion naira budget yesterday. From then, you will know
it was
that
actually day before yesterday. It was day before yesterday.
IBAS? Yeah. IBAS was yesterday.
Oh, really?
Yes.
I was thinking it was day before.
IBAS was yesterday. Yes.
Okay.
It's not a full house because they are recess. Yeah. But the committee overseeing
converged.
So he presented it yesterday. And if it would be that he would forgive Fubara, we would have known. He would have told IBAS, calm down, hold on. Do you understand? Let Fubara come and take over. From yesterday, you will know that he's not going to do that. Do you understand? And all that. If he was in every democracy, the president listens. The president doesn't do. Is the chief.
So you are not putting Wike into why Fubara has not been integrated easily, like the way Sanwo-Olu, was easily forgiven.
No. Do you know why? Because it is stock in trade, right? To use people. That's why you see people coming in from other parties, and they're even gaining more relevance than the people in. He jokingly said, Wike is not an APC member. Yeah, he's doing what all he's doing. We want to welcome him in. If the president tells Wike, quit PDP and come to APC, now, Wike will do that.
But politically,
he prefer Wike to be in PDP.
Exactly, I was to say
to
that.
Put the leg on their neck so that he will be pressing them. That's the reason people are leaving PDP, because they don't see light at the end of the tunnel. At the end of the day, PDP will not be able to file a candidate. That's what it means. So I don't think it's the Wike factor. Wike is not that powerful more than the president. So Wike is doing his bid. It's not the Wike factor. What power does Wike have? It's just like what we are talking in America now. Elon Musk have left the White House. Am I correct? But do you think he's going to win Donald Trump? Donald Trump
is the president.
Donald Trump has withdrawn the aid or whatever that is given to Tesla. In every Tesla you buy from America, $7,000 is paid by the American government since 2008.
That encourages people to buy.
Do you understand? Because it may be too much for you to buy since the time of Obama. Because the company wanted to go bankrupt.
It wasn't even Obama that rescued Elon Musk.
Exactly. If not, he would have gone bankrupt. So they paid this one. Now Trump has removed it and said they are not going to use American money to enrich one person. I don't know, as friendly as they are.
Yeah.
So are you telling me that Wike that is not elected on any platform, either as governor or as senator or as House of Rep member, is a threat to the president? No. The president is keeping him for his own purpose. It's not for Wike's purpose or Wike's strength or Wike's wisdom.
Not magnetizing just about any available politician into APC. We are talking about democracy. We're celebrating Democracy Day today. It emanated from NRC election versus SDP election. Those were the two only parties as at that time. Today we are having a multi-party system. Can we, categorically accuse APC of seeking for one-party system when we know that today, we have multi-party system, unlike before when we had just SDP and RC, a multi-party system. As a matter of fact, I think we have about 17 in the INEX portal today, recognized that is still displayed there, the last time I checked. So looking at that, is it not like these people have always been of the same philosophy? Maybe it's becoming clearer today because almost PDP and APC are becoming just about the same thing, leaving Nigerians with others.
Well, yes, but also we're talking about democracy.
Yes, certainly.
Now let's give a little definition of democracy. Democracy is that government of the people, by the people, and for the people. But democracy is also the fact that the majority have their way and the minority have their say. There must always be a minority, and the minority must always speak. Yeah. So why are you gagging the minority not to speak? Every person that is in the minority that wants to speak, you try and bring him to your party. That's not politics.
But let me tell you, beyond, not to make excuse for Asiwaju, don't get me wrong, because, there's something Wike said, I think about 2 weeks ago, PDP, that we also tried to take over Lagos. We also tried to do probably what you're accusing PDP and APC of doing today. Yes. They actually took over the whole Southwest. Yes. That was either to AD. Yes. So only Lagos was left standing. Yes. Don't you think it's more in the character of these people that are moving to APC? Do you understand? If today, for example, we are not APC members and they want us to come to APC, I can't just go. If you think I've committed offense or whatever, you want to use that offense to do me like this, take me to jail. I mean, if the whole court feel that I have committed that offense, you take me to jail, fine. That means our democracy could be working in some form. Do you understand? I mean, people shouldn't see, after all, Bode George was jailed for 6 months and eventually they found out that he was wrongly jailed.
Who was in power when Bode George was jailed?
Leave those.
And his party was in power when he was jailed.
Yes, certainly.
Am I correct?
Yeah.
Now, who in this party now is jailed and is still in APC? Let's put that aside.
That's what I'm saying, that it's in the character.
Let's put that aside. Yeah. Then let's come to how PDP swept the Southwest. PDP swept the Southwest as a result of the performance of the president. That's how PDP swept the Southwest.
Well, yes. I agree with you that Obasanjo did perform, but some of the Yorubas also came up at that time. Yorubas didn't vote for Obasanjo the first tenure. Yes. It was more of the Southeast. Yes. Gave him all the vote. Some from the North Central, and South. The entire South.
So that's why I'm asking you the question: who was in AD that moved to PDP?
No, that's what I'm saying. It's a character thing. I'm coming. That's what I'm telling you, that in the character of the individual, you can't remove it. In as much as the president, okay, look at this Showumi's visits. Yes. You say we should talk. Maybe we should talk about it now. Yes. To recent that Showumi has been saying it. He just visited the president. I'm not certain president said you must join APC.
How do you know?
And I said I'm not certain.
Why did he visit the president?
No, this festivity is the president of
everybody.
No,
listen. Listen.
No,
hold on. Yeah. There are more people in APC.
But was it forced?
Hold on now. There are more people in APC that needs the president attention than Showumi.
You think Showumi? You don't know. No, do you think Showumi was gagged?
You don't know.
That's why I said I'm not certain.
You don't know.
That's what I'm saying. I said I'm not certain.
But he was invited.
Well,
did he ask for the audience of the president?
We don't have that clarity.
Exactly. You know, so what we are saying is that
I kept it's still the same thing.
Yes.
If you can't remove the character of a person,
yes,
and just put the entire blame on APC or the president trying to get everybody. I've always said something that in as much as we want to preserve our democracy, these people are still politicians. You don't arrest a musician for playing music. You don't arrest a politician for playing politics.
Okay, for define.
I'm not saying democracy, I'm saying politics.
I know.
I'm coming.
So I want to define.
Yeah, I'm coming.
Okay.
As far as there is no coaction at any point, as far as there's no coercion, I begin to think of the character of these people. Do you tell me, for example, Bola that almost abused the president the last time? You want to tell me Bola was coerced?
Yes. you see, these things are not. They are obvious. You see, a lot of people want to be in power.
Yeah.
The greed of so many of these people,
which is their character.
I'm not disputing their character.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
No, I'm not disputing their character. Yeah. But what I'm saying is that they could have also been the character of those people back then during Obasanjo's period. But we didn't see a hauling.
No, we are not removing. We are not seeing.
Let me finish now. Okay, yeah. Let me finish. We're not seeing a hauling of one party to the other.
Certainly.
They didn't haul AD. Right? Into PDP.
Yeah,
they were not doing that.
Certainly.
They just showed a better option.
Does not automatically becomes forgiving by switching party. See, let me tell you, sometimes when we have a multi-dimensional problem, if we solve one-dimensional problem, we're not going to get a solution. Do you understand? If we have two people that rob the bank,
yes,
you pick one person in jail,
yes,
the other thief is still there.
Yes.
So them trying to bring them into making them go into one party is all wrong.
And also
the character of people who are not able to find their footing
is another
in philosophy. It is also wrong. That's what I'm saying.
On that note,
that's what I'm saying. I'm not substituting it one for one.
I agree with you.
10 things can be a problem. And you call it 10
but they are all problems.
They are all problems.
Yes.
Exactly.
You can say disadvantages.
Yes.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
It doesn't have to be one.
Advantages. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah.
They are all advantages and
right.
disadvantages.
Yes.
No, I agree with this character of these politicians.
Right.
But in developed society, we also know about character and people that belong to a particular political party. Destroying one political party by another party is not politics. I'm telling you, it's not politics.
Certainly.
It's not politics.
Certainly.
Everybody cannot see from where you are.
If you listen to what Nenadi said the other day, Nenadi clearly accused the government of being involved in this fracas almost in all the opposition.
Is it not obvious?
But she said something very important.
Yes.
He said internally we have a crack.
Yes.
That's what I'm saying.
No.
Internally we have a crack. If we don't have that internal crack, they will find nowhere to pass.
I'm in tandem with you on this, and there are reasons for this. One of the reasons is tribalism.
You mentioned it the other day. You say primordial sentiment. A lot of people are imprisoned by their primordial sentiment. For example, let me give you an example now.
Yes.
We are celebrating SDP today.
Yes.
Because June 12th emanated from SDP. And SDP happened to be at the forefront of the coalition. Maybe we should talk about coalition slightly. Happened to be at the forefront of coalition today. If for any reason you are going to find any crack, like Nena they talk about in Labour and other opposition, you might be shocked. It could be those Yorubas already in SDP. Why? They are imprisoned by the primordial sentiment of their tribe.
Until that is fixed. You see, let me tell you something. There's a scripture that said the many-sidedness of God. I listen to me. The many-sidedness of God. That's the way he puts it. I wish I got another translation now to show what he talks about the many-sidedness of God. You can't see God in one way.
That's right.
Do you understand? I'm a Christian. I believe that Jesus Christ is the way, the truth, and the life. Yeah. But I don't see God in one particular way. I don't know if you understand. But I see God in Christ Jesus. Yesterday, today, and forever. Yeah. But what I'm trying to say is that you would say that because a man did this, he's going to hell. You cannot say that. If not, I will ask you, the thief on the cross, what did he do to get salvation? He didn't confess Christ. He didn't pray in tongues. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying. He had been a robber all his life. But Jesus Christ told him, he said, today you'll be with me in paradise. Now, having said that, you can't say that it must be this way, everybody must see it.
Certainly.
Do you understand? You can't see it in that way. There must be opposition.
There must be.
The ruling party.
No, the question is, I think, in a way, looking at this coalition that is coming, the next election, 2027, it's unfortunate that we're already talking about the election now. We can't go back again.
Yeah. No, we can't go back
should
again.
be talking about governance, evaluation of what they have done, checking their own performance metrics set by them and the performance metrics we set. For example, they are talking about increasing the foreign reserve. Any Nigerian is talking about the purchasing price
power,
of the their purchasing power and their disposable income, what it can do, the prices of fuel, the cost of transportation, the cost of food, and also the unemployment and insecurity, and especially for our farmers. We have that twofold, that insecurity is making our farmers to be unemployed. Two, is also increasing the price of food. Buying rice to dump can be a temporary solution, but it's actually not the kind of solution, because it's also weakening our
industries that are springing up, that are already being strangled.
That's right. So looking at this coalition, don't you think this thing is a blessing in disguise? How do I put it? Look back. Let me give you a landing spot so you help me make some analogy out of it. Looking back, it appears from 1999 to now, no party has really done too well. But let's say PDP did better. PDP clearly did better.
PDP did far better.
Yes. They did better, a lot better. And they didn't come with deception.
No. The
structure we see today were set up by them. At 1999, we didn't have EFCC.
No.
We didn't have ICPs.
No.
In short, our economy was in shambles.
Yes.
And the presidential PDP president of that time, Obasanjo, went about, looking for loan forgiveness, and he was able to get it to the extent that our foreign loan was almost drastically reduced to nothing.
Yes.
And we started on a clean note. That alone was a big achievement. But putting that as it is today, the people that has also placed Nigeria where we are, imagine us comparing what the military did and what democratic president did. Very shameful. These people are either from APC or from PDP. Yeah, there are quite issues of ABGA, APP, CPC, some governors like Nasara Makura, CPC, that's a few of them, but the mainstream is APC and PDP. Now, in one way or the other, Asiwaju is, galvanizing all of them, bringing all these old politicians under one umbrella called APC as it is, whether by coercion or by persuasion or by whatever. We just saw that they are all going in there. What's the name of them? Has moved.
Yes.
Maybe more will be moving. You don't understand more. So we just see all of them coming to one umbrella. Isn't this an opportunity for the ordinary Nigerians who think they have been shortchanged to come under this coalition of ordinary people, so that in 2027 we'll have an election of ordinary persons versus these people that has been fleecing us dry?
Okay, so the first thing we should first of all look at is who is leading the ordinary Nigerians. The ordinary Nigerians are not the leaders. You must take note of that.
Yeah.
Who is leading them matters. Who is leading, or the people that are leading them.
Yeah.
We know our brother Gabam as the leader of SDP. But you see, if you look at it in a particular way, Erif has come to join.
Yeah.
Other people are on the stretch wanting to join.
Yeah.
Al Mustafa has joined.
Yeah.
The people don't trust these people. Let's say the fact as it is, so that they will know how to come out and how also not to make the mistake they made before.
Yeah.
Do you understand? Because Erufai said something. He said the principles to which APC was founded on.
They don't trust them in how?
They don't trust them to keep to their words of what they did before.
Okay.
I mean, they came out blazing hot, fighting the institution of corruption in PDP.
Like Amechi now is part of this coalition.
Exactly.
He has been saying that if we work together, we can remove this person.
We can remove these people. People don't trust Amechi. That's the truth.
So you think people trust Tinubu more than Amechi?
No.
So what would the people do?
They are between a divide.
So what would they do? They have to do something.
What they have to do is also to...
Okay, let me put it this way.
No, I know what you're saying.
Let me summarize it for you.
What the people need to do is to take a risk.
With who?
The opposition.
That's the coalition.
The coalition.
That's right. Because you already know this one.
You already know this one.
You already know this one.
Yes.
So your hope is in the one you do not know.
It's like what the 3 lepers said.
Yeah.
If there was hunger, if you say stay here, we die.
Already here.
We go to the other city.
The worst case now is that we'll die.
He said, let us go to our own place.
Because
in the
coalition now, we are looking at the principal leaders. Say RFI, the Gaban you talked about. Gaban is a very wonderful personality,
yes.
But he might not be flying the flag like a presidential candidate or not. He might just be the party chairman. A wonderful man,
But he's the one putting all the acts together.
Wonderful man,
He's one of the most vibrant party we have around right
SDP.
now.
That's what we are even celebrating.
Vibrant and functional party.
And focused. So now we have people like that who have RFI coming in with his strength and his weaknesses, to no doubt. Anybody who has been in the public space will have criticism and some advantages and some people going for it.
It's there for everybody.
Some people going for it, some people going against
it. It's there for
now
everybody.
We have somebody like Amechi coming in. We have somebody like P2B coming in. We have Article 2 coming in that coalition. There are a lot of many other names that have not really joined in, like Ralph Alegbeshola, who we think we had that is going to join. Too many other names that will come on board at the end of the day. If this continues, and at the end of the day, let's say they were able to narrow down to a southern candidate to make the election easier. And like what you have always talked about, fairness, they narrow it down to people like Eda Amechi or P2B or things like that. Do you think the people, the lepers, let's say the lepers, like you put it, in quotes, Nigerians are not lepers, certainly, but let's put it as we want to try their luck with the coalition?
The people will try their luck only if it's Peter Obi. I can tell you that.
Yeah.
The people will try their luck with only Peter Obi. Peter Obi, the former governor of Jigawa State, former minister for foreign affairs, Sule Lamido said, I will only vote for Obi.
I
will only vote for Obi if Obi is the one leading the pack or as the presidential candidate. And I can tell you for free, so many people will vote North, West, East, South.
Okay, now,
if it's Obi that is the presidential candidate.
Now, do you think there is any kind of performance beyond politics of having governors defer to your party? Because I can tell you that will not help Asiwaju. That I can tell him. Let him look beyond that. And that is why I'm also not happy that the opportunity he had today to speak directly to Nigerians in the early morning broadcast or whatever, he chooses to do it in the National Assembly, in the Joint National Assembly.
Okay, but that's what I'm telling you. It's one of the character of Asiwaju. He does whatever he wants to do. I can tell you for free, truly, whatever is in his mind to do, nobody can say it. He will say, I hold it to my mind. That's the way to say, it's in my mind. He does whatever he wants to do. He doesn't want to be like a pushed over. But you see, let me tell you something. We're all in the studio. We have a lot of backroom staff.
Yeah.
You and I, we are not always right all the time.
It's a certainly.
They can come and say, let's do this. Let's do it. I don't know if you understand. Even by impulse, maybe your eyes, the light of your eyes will just shine to that direction and say, I didn't see that way before. Do you understand? If every Nigerian has spoken.
Anybody has to be teachable.
It has to be teachable. If every Nigerian has spoken and said what is in rivers is not good, listen.
June 12 shouldn't pass you by.
June 12 shouldn't pass you by. Do you understand?
Let's look up, like
we have to do what we have to do.
It's still 4 minutes to 1 o'clock, so let's hope something
we have
happens
to do what we
before
have to
12
do.
midnight.
Look, that's what I'm telling you. I say
it should have happened before.
It's
now.
not in the character of Asiwaju.
Should.
I said it's not in his character. You need to go and look at the antecedent of things I'm talking about the president. The president, to an extent, loves good things. Do you understand? And wants to an extent, Nigeria to move forward. But I've said something. When you get a character issue, you stick with that character.
And also, we should run away from this. The president is doing his best. The president means well for this nation. All Nigerians mean well for Nigeria.
You mean I don't mean well for this nation? You have an opportunity to move out of the country. I have an opportunity to move out of the country. We chose to stay.
We don't allow people to just come and mean well for the nation. Nigerians mean well for Nigeria.
Your mean well is not enough.
So we need capacity to solve the problems you said you're going to solve.
There's something Peter Obi said that I resonate with. He said, let's not say it is okay, people are benefiting. He said, I've been to Beirut, I've been to Kandahar, I've been to Afghanistan. Yeah. He said there were beautiful buildings there, beautiful buildings. People were living in affluence, but they didn't know when violence came and took them over. Now, both the poor and the rich live on the street.
They are poor.
So don't be building houses and say I have 20, 30 houses like this. The day
one volatile civic arrest.
The day
we
pray a lot in this country. Yes. We have seen win,
and that is
but
why,
God will not let us see win.
And that is why we are raising this alarm. You know, Obasanjo said something the other day that actually resonates with common sense. That all the problems Asiwaju is facing at this moment, they were there before he came.
Yes.
So he should have been prepared.
Yes.
He has no excuse. Unlike, for example, not to make excuse for Goodluck Jonathan, unlike the insurgency that started really becoming more violent at his time. Yeah, it started, Boko Haram started at Yarada's time, but they had a way of quelling it. Some of our articles say it started in their time.
Yes.
That they quelled it. It didn't come up again. At Yarada's time again, but it didn't come up. But in Jonathan's time,
there was a full bloom.
There was a full bloom. So you could say, he was unprepared for it. It wasn't what he budgeted for, but he was still able to keep it to the southeast region, not even southeast, Borno State, in a part of Yobe or thereabout. And he was even able to conduct election in all those places during 2015 election that Buhari eventually won. These started growing under Buhari to the extent that everybody was watching Buhari like this. Buhari and Gumi will go and meet terrorists and come out.
But I told you Buhari was an enabler.
And tell Nigerians that if terrorists say this and that, terrorists will be hanging AK-47.
And they will meet with them.
And we will be meeting with them. Very shameful sight.
A lot of them were meeting with Masari, with guns.
To behold. Very, very shameful to behold. It appears we move slightly beyond that now. I'm not seeing that enabling language from like the president. But the president has not been able to come out very strongly on this, ragtag vices, because
they are playing politics with everything. Listen, the Boko Haram or insurgent issues we have in our country needs crushing. I mean, crushing.
A murderer is a
murderer. Whether it's from your younger brother.
It doesn't matter.
I mean, if you read Vasta's episode that Babangida wrote, him and Vasta were childhood friends from the same secondary school.
Yeah.
But when it came to the killing of Vasta or the coup plotters, the law was above.
No mercy.
If it's good to do a coup, but if you don't succeed in your coup, death awaits you. I don't know if you understand.
Yes,
whether they are brothers, cousins, sister of anybody, whether it's in Niger Delta or
because the people they are killing are people's brothers
and sisters.
Yes.
Whether you are the one calling for Yoruba nation or Igbo nation, wherever you are, you want to disintegrate this country in any way, violently, whatever you are. Look, the law should catch up on you on a hard way because we are better together. That I've always preached Nigeria. I love Nigeria. I schooled in the north. I'm from the southwest.
No, it gives us the kind of the uniqueness that you find in America.
Yes.
You go to Arizona, some part of Nevada, you see desert-looking area. No, you come to the New York area, the New England area, you see a different temperature. Come to the Midwestern area like Chicago, Michigan, you see a different temperament. Go to the South Texas, you see Florida, you see a different thing.
Go to Seattle, it rains 9 months in a year in Seattle. Then go to the up that is very close to Russia. I mean, the
Alaska area.
It's all America.
Because there are different, what you can't find in this region,
you find in this region, and you can decide to settle anywhere you want. You say, oh, I was born in Arizona, but now I now live in Seattle. You're an American. Nobody say you can't live here, you can't live here, you can't live here. Or there's quota system, or they should remove all those crap. Until then, we will not become the Nigeria of our dream. That's the real truth. These things, we must look at them holistically, and there must be opposition.
Do you think this June 12 is going to unite the opposition? Because as to politicians, it's just a day. Why they go back to what they are doing. But to the voters and to Nigerians who are, we are using the word hungry now, who are hungry, because Amechi himself said he's hungry. The wicked came out to say he's only hungry for power, don't mind him. Two of them have been playing. Amechi said, I don't discuss with you, I don't argue with you.
Is it my sorrow for this country is that the people are conquered.
And they have become docile.
They are conquered. And when you conquer a people, you see, when the colonial masters came, the people that fought for them in their army were Africans.
Yes.
They were natives of the land. The people that gave them stories about who mentioned, who brought up a riot were our people, because they were already conquered, and they gave them a pie. There's what you call the Greek gift. Some have fallen for it. Do you understand? And that's why you see anybody goes to visit Tinubu, when they go and come out, they begin to sing differently. It's not going to change. I don't know if you understand.
Yeah, but I didn't want to go into our social composition as Africans, but there's this saying that a typical African man is not content with what he has. They have this feeling that the pasture is greener in another man's compound. They sacrifice what they have to get
what they've not seen.
What they've not seen. People not to criticize anybody's personal decision. Yeah. Some people selling their houses here as a medical doctor just to go to abroad to start cleaning toilets and start saving money to buy house again. You already had a house.
You are not criticizing people. Personally the story of a lot of people that are living there that wish they never moved. They wish they never ever moved.
In Africa, of not being content, of not understanding that as far as you're on earth here, certain things are not going to be fixed. There must be some deficiency. It's not heaven. There's no country. There's actually no heaven on earth. No,
have you seen beggars, white beggar? I'm not saying black, white beggar on the street of America?
Plenty.
Homeless.
We don't even have homelessness. Apart from that, we have what we call houses that are not houses.
Exactly.
That's why we're calling on the government rather spend 39 billion naira to renovate International Conference Center in Abuja. That can do a lot in low-cost housing, so that Nigerians who are working day by day and cannot afford house will have, decent roof over their head. That alone will also generate employment during construction of those small unit housing. This misplaced priority, and people are clapping for them. This misplaced priority, I think we are going to focus on this in the next 2 years. Otherwise, we are not going to get these 2 years right. They might think they are doing well, but at the end of the day, it's not touching the people. And that is why in the upper echelon, they think they are doing well. But people are saying, no, we are hungry. You are not doing well. I'm not going to use. Some Nigerians even people that live in Abuja, in a place like Kuje, Kubwa, they can live in Abuja for 15 years and have no need to use International Conference Center.
Okay.
Why would you use 39 billion naira to renovate
what's the capacity of international conference
What is the basis for it?
Well, is it a tourist center?
No.
Okay, if you go to Trafalgar Square,
Yeah.
and see the tourist attraction that comes there on a daily basis, from that place to Oxford like this, if you see the businesses that it attracts, you will know that it's a country.
Nothing.
You will see Chinese, you will see all of Asia in buses. I mean,
and come to think of the tourism, because we'll be rounding up very soon, so that we'll prepare for our next program. Come to think of the tourism, no matter what you even build in international conference center, it does not function in isolation. Until the country is secured, certain things are not going to work. Tourism, forget it. People, do you know that when they see it in television and in YouTube and all that, they think Nigeria is born. They will ask you, why are you still in Nigeria? Why are you still in Nigeria?
On this show, we have talked about Dirty December. Am I correct?
Yes.
Now, what are the states that get a high flow of Dirty December pilgrims? What have they done to wait for them so that that revenue is going to come to them? Places like Edo, Lagos, where you have a lot of these people living there that are going to come. What hotels have been built? What entrepreneurship programs have been centered? I was opportune to go to the airport early this morning. Took somebody to the airport. They were traveling to St. Kitts and whatever the other name. I mean, it's a country of 50,000 people. And all they live on is tourism. Yeah. All they live on is a very small island.
Paying for their passports.
It runs like 24 kilometers.
To be their city.
Yeah, because they want to get access to America.
Be able to travel
Do you
to that
understand?
country.
Nigerians go there and buy citizenship for $250,000. So that you can...
We'll get there Sunday. I think we'll have to be rounding up. Hopefully, Democracy Day that we have today resonates with us, that the struggles of Abiola, who insisted, that's the character we're talking about, who insisted that his mandate
must be upheld.
That's coercion. That's the character I told you about, who insisted that his mandate must be upheld. And somehow he gave his life for it. It shouldn't be in vain, hopefully. And
he could have been under the prisons of Aso Rock at the time and say, Bacha, okay, I've removed, because they approached him several times and said, don't worry, I've removed my hand from June 12th. I've renounced what I said before, but he died for it.
He died for it.
Yes,
he died for it.
So that's the
character I'm telling you about. And there's no, I don't think there's any more coercion than the one from the military.
No.
Be like, I may never slap you before.
No. I have a lot of army friends. Did I ever tell you a story of when I first came to Abuja? I went to FCT Police Command wearing my best suit. I stepped like this, I don't know what are you doing there. You step on IG's head. In my regalia, they made me do front jump.
It's all right, viewers. Thank you for being there. It's Democracy Day. We have a program coming up, Voting Arena. We'll be talking to a guest, and hope you join us by 3 o'clock. 3, right?
3 o'clock.
3 o'clock, yeah. Hope you join us by 3 o'clock. It's a live telecast. Thank you for being there, and continue to uphold the principles of democracy. And no matter the struggles we face, I believe we'll conquer. Nigeria will be a great nation someday. Bye.